What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the 3&D podcast, the home of home of Australia's greatest of all time basketball podcast, because this episode is episode 23, and we're going to come correct. I'm going to start it off with
2-3
introductions. At number 9, your boy, Nabs, the ref.
No.
And at number 22, Maz El Crapitan. And at number 20, I think. Yeah, let's go with number 20.
Bro.
Yoz, the shooter, the Melbourne street sweeper. Yoz.
King of the court.
There it is, guys. That's the intro. This is episode 23, and it wouldn't be right if we didn't honor Michaeljordan with this episode. He's been an influence in all of our lives. Me personally, growing up, our older brother, or for us, I'm going to speak on both of our part, our older brother Fu brought us into the world of basketball through his love for MJ, and because of our competitive spirit, our competitive nature, we followed in his footsteps, wanting to best him. And I know Yoz, growing up in the streets of Melbourne, symbolizing his game or epitomizing his game on Jordan's game, would have had a similar experience. So it wouldn't be right not to dedicate this whole episode 23 of the 3&D podcast, to Michaeljordan, his Airness, Air Jordan, Black Jesus. And that's where we're at, guys. Episode 23.
Sometimes I dream
That he is me.
He is me. I just want to be like Mike.
Like Mike.
Like Mike. Did you try to buy the same chewing gum as him?
I tried chewing gum one game. It fell out of my mouth in the middle of the game, and my coach lost it.
Oh,
Get that shit out of your mouth.
What about the tongue wagging?
Oh, the tongue wag was always there.
Yeah?
Look at armpits,
Always
left,
there,
right,
bro.
center.
The tongue started coming out a couple times. I bit my tongue.
Okay, how did you do the tongue wag when you're constantly
That's when I get
every
to the
shot?
ring. Back then, I didn't have to. I didn't have to jump hard for that shit. Man.
Yeah,
As you get old, it's like cramp.
Moz, happy to be here.
Yeah,
Happy
loving it.
23 episodes down, up and down.
Yeah,
So,
love it.
like I said, this whole episode is going to be dedicated to the 23.
MJ.
23 symbolizing
Blanket.
such a big name, big number in the world of basketball. So, I have a question. Firstly, would there be another 23 like Jordan?
Never.
Can there be another 23 like Jordan? And what would it take to be another 23 like Jordan? Who wants to go first?
No,
Take the
you can
floor,
go.
Moz.
You can take it.
Look, myself growing up, I was always expected to, take the number 23, or you want 23. I refused my entire childhood to wear that number, just for the respect that
Respect.
the respecter.
The respect.
RSPC, respect.
Respect.
That a step that is earned from that is deserved from the GOAT himself, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I never wore that number. I don't think there'll be another player to. I know we've got players trying to wear that number and take over the legacy of who 23 is.
Tarnish.
More so tarnish, yeah. But I don't think there'll ever be. I don't think any player will be able to tell you or any player would tell you that there'll be another 23 like Mike.
So not necessarily the number, but what it embodies, what it symbolizes, what it means. It's Jordan made that number what it is in the eyes of the world. Let's face it.
And do we know how he made that number?
Yes.
So he was 45. That was Jordan's number. And that was also his brother Larry's number, right? When they played together, his older brother obviously got precedence and able to take the number. So Michaeljordan's like, well, I can't have 45. So what's half of 45? And it was, 22 and a half. So then
Split the difference.
made it 23. And that's how we ended
Nice.
up with the number.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. So it's not like he was copying anybody. So that number 23, when anybody hears 23 worldwide, even if you're not a basketball fan, you know it's Michaeljordan.
LeBron James.
He is you know it's Michaeljordan. He is the embodiment of that number.
It's
How
copyrighted.
crazy is it? Like,
That's what I mean. So everything that entails, can there ever be? Will there ever be? And what would it take to ever get to that? How is it possible in a faraway land where cars are marshmallows and things are upside down? What would it take for that to happen?
So in a lab in Germany somewhere, in the darkest areas where no one knows, with some of those scientists that escaped, went to America, then go back to Germany, start working in the lab, get some test tubes going, get Michaeljordan's DNA, and start creating a baby with the DNA of Michaeljordan to be a carbon copy, a clone of Michaeljordan. That's the only other possibility.
So let's think about what that
And call him
23.
Ant-Man.
So Moz,
Get the out of here.
let's think about everything that
Ant-Man.
23 embodies. So he brought, a global audience to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Unprecedented, I think, before and after. Maybe contentious after, but before definitely. We're in Australia. And let's face it, I mean, the most avid NBA fans, in Australia back in the day, back in our day, probably wouldn't have known as much as what it is now, what the NBA is now, how much broadcasting and everything else, and that could be with technology as well. But the way he brought a global audience, that's one aspect, but there's so many others. So from that perspective, can there be a 23? What would it take for there to be a 23 if it was possible?
There can't be another 23 because I always have the mindset of the originator will always be the originator, the original. If there was someone that wanted to come and be a 23, it would have to be the original of something new, not something of the past. So in my opinion, that's it. Once it's been done once, it's very hard, or not very hard, but impossible to replicate that freshness of something new coming to light.
You'll always feel like a fraud.
Not fraud, no, as we're talking from a fan's perspective globally, right? Having that freshness to the eye from MJ, very hard to get that emotional moment again from any other player, unless they do something new. Now, unfortunately, replicating Jordan isn't something new.
He put basketball
us,
on
at
the map.
least,
He
yeah.
put even in because Australia's a world away from America. Okay, let's face it.
Mhm.
14 hour flight just to the West Coast. Our audience may not know how far. Like, we literally, some people even think we don't exist. Australia doesn't exist.
We don't. Well, a bunch of actors.
Yeah, I know when I was in America, they told me, how about you move the country a little bit closer, man? 24 hours, 27-hour flight, man.
And it is, there's not a person, I don't think there's a person that you can go to in Australia that wouldn't know, they may not know about basketball, may not know about NBA, but wouldn't know about MJ, or at least something that MJ has done, whether it be his shoes, whether it be his number, whether it be his team, whatever the case may
Logo.
be. logo, whatever the case may be.
His son banging Scotty's wife.
So, so that to me, we talk about influence. Okay, I don't think there has been a greater influence, okay, for the sport of basketball, for the NBA than Michaeljordan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I want to think about, okay, because we love basketball, we love the NBA, we love seeing it grow, we love seeing, how it can continue to be, bigger and better and more exciting and etc. And just the spirit of the competition in general. This is why I wanted to explore what would it take, like if we look at the NBA today, what players would even come close to even, be considered to have even that impact or that influence, or even if they don't have that influence, to be even in that category of that influence. Like, do you see anybody that could come close?
I've brought it up a few times before. Curry.
Curry?
Oh, yeah, Curry. From a global stage aspect, and
the number 30.
Not the number 30, but how the game is played. It's been emulated. Like when we were growing up, it was we'll take a shot and yell out MJ. But now, Kobe. But now it's Curry. Like you're seeing shorties loving to play basketball when they didn't before, because of Curry. So Curry is one player that comes to mind as being that global impact player for the game of basketball. I don't see anyone.
Having said that,
LeBron does.
Having said that, I'm a Curry fan. Okay, you know my story. I got back into basketball after an injury, after hating basketball because of watching Curry play
and eating biryani.
But I think recent news would speak against you. You saw the clip of Curry walking into I think it was a Foot Locker or one of those sports stores in France, and they didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
And walking around France and people didn't recognize him. Now, could you ever think that would be possible with Michael?
No, of course not.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, as much as I want to say yes, that is potential, that is possible. And then there's the opposite as well. Like when people see him on the court, like when we watched the exhibition games where they played him in, was it Dubai or Abu Dhabi or whatever it was? The Arabs were loving seeing Curry play. Like that was the most exciting thing, It was electrifying. A 3-pointer over a dunk. Like, so from the talent perspective and the court perspective, I can agree with you, but the influence and the exposure, I don't know if that's possible.
No, I didn't say exposure, influence on the game.
Yeah.
The exposure, no. Look, I would MJ's a whole different realm on that.
I would say Murad's right in the sense of influence, but I would also disagree with you when it comes down to talent, because the talent, he doesn't have, like, he's talented, and I love Stephen Curry, and the influence he's had in the game is amazing. I agree with you on that, right? Globally, over LeBron, what he's done for the game, 100%. But he doesn't have even as much talent as Michaeljordan had in his 2 fingers, because we're talking about defense, we're talking about all your game, not just one aspect of your game.
I didn't mean talent. Sorry, let me clarify. What I meant by talent is seeing him in action. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Electrifying nature, 100%. Yeah. But why I don't think that it could be Curry is because of that fact. Talent is
no, from an all-round game. Yeah, I agree. 100%. I mean, 6'6", but
influence,
Jordan. Globally, he's the closest.
He's changed the game.
Hands down.
I mean, I love the fact that when we were kids, we weren't allowed to shoot many threes.
And now
we shot more than 2 or 3 threes a game.
You're done.
We're benched. Bum on bench. That's it, bro. Now it's like, shit, it's cool to do that. And I'm still a mid-range shooter. So, I mean, I'm loving it. Everyone's shooting threes. I'm happy with the mid-range shot.
I wish I had it.
And that's that Mike.
But yeah, that's what I mean. As far as a global influence.
Even still, you said like these young kids are saying Curry. Nah, they're still saying Kobe. So Kobe's still that.
Relevant,
relevant, people forget. Like,
but they're saying Kobe from the halfway line. So Kobe doesn't make sense. He never shot.
Kobe just shoot from wherever. Just give him the ball, he's going to shoot. But that's my point. He's probably the only player that ever came along. And it's not because he played like Mike or emulated Mike.
That
It's
was an
because
icon. He was-
that was the premium way to play the game,
Mm.
and he was the only one that could do it. Not
I'd
that he was the
argue-
only one that wanted to.
Mm.
Everyone wanted to be like Mike. Even LeBron, you hear what he said.
Mm.
I did everything like Mike. I wanted to be him,
Yeah.
but you couldn't. Kobe,
I'd
pretty
argue
much
that
could.
that Kobe thing, that phenomena of saying Kobe when you know,
Yeah.
throw something or shoot something, I think that was popularized like in pop culture more than it was on the court.
yeah, no, it was
Like
Mm.
all the shit that he was doing off the court,
100%.
and then
Man.
the satire outside of basketball. That's where that Kobe thing came
100%.
from.
Mm.
Whenever
Agreed. Yeah.
you know,
I agree with you.
Dave Chappelle, I mean, that's a classic skit. But I wanted to say something on the Steph thing, actually. I thought this was really interesting. I know this is the MJ podcast, but
Come on, man.
the new TV show,
Every episode.
the new show that Steph has made, Mr. Throwback. I'm not sure if any of you's watched it. I got a chance to watch it. In it, there was a really cool scene where one of the actors, it was his assistant,
Mm.
she broke down what happens when Steph, and it was supposed to be, it's not meant to be factual, but within it was, you know, some fact.
Mm.
She broke down what happens when he goes through a slump.
Mm.
And she drew up a chart, and she said she had Stephanomics.
No way.
It said Stephanomics,
I like
and it showed,
TN.
like she explained,
TN.
she explained how everything comes to a halt, how much money is lost whenever Steph has a slump. And it was, as much as it was comedy,
Like that detail.
as much as it was comedy, it was so
Jeez.
good. And I wish I could play it. I can't find a non-copyrighted version.
You're
Because
shocking.
No, it's something else then.
because NBC are playing it, or is it Peacock, whatever it is, and they protect their
Poppycocks.
content
No
really
Diddy.
well. But just from that perspective, when you were talking about Steph and the influence,
Yeah.
that chart really speaks to what you're saying. You know, how much people depend on these top talents,
Mm.
not just from basketball, but everything surrounding it as well.
Yeah, and from business.
So
business
it
aspect.
speaks to your point, definitely.
Mm. Yeah, his influence, global reach.
Is there anyone else?
There's no one else at the moment.
Look, I would have
Wemby's
only said Kobe. I
probably-
would have only just said Kobe.
Wemby is probably in line, but he hasn't done it yet.
So
He's got
Kobe's
the
a good
potential,
point.
yeah.
Kobe's a good point, because if we look at, so, you know, he lost his life at an early age, relatively early age. But look at what happened to the NBA. Like, they were considering, there was a lot of talk around what the NBA should do to honor him. And they ended up changing the All-Star game for a period of time, which is unheard of. You know, it's unprecedented. So from that perspective, definitely had an influence, a massive influence on the game. So I do agree in that perspective. But for future, I don't know. I mean, what would they have to be? They can't globalize basketball. I mean, how much more can you globalize basketball or the NBA than it is now? The only thing I could think of is it would have to be a talent that plays outside of the NBA. It would have to be on the level. So a player that plays outside of the NBA. This is the only thing I can think of for it to be possible to be another 23 and everything that encapsulates. Because there has to be a new market. It can't be the same. It has to be something that is groundbreaking, you know, at that level. So I believe it'd have to come from a player that plays outside of the NBA. Okay. This is a really odd, you know, take, and follow me on this one. Have the same or bigger influence, okay, globally, that MJ did, and come with everything else that the Stephanomics model comes with, but at a larger scale, because
So
it's
like
a
if
global
you,
brand.
so like if you had an Oscar Schmidt, like a new age Oscar Schmidt.
So this is more to do with what we were talking about, like if there was a competing
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
league.
Like if you had more of a player that's outside of the NBA but was so damn good, and then refused to play in the NBA.
No,
but
no,
his
no.
impact on the basketball world, everyone looked at this guy as like, wow.
No, so
Who's Oscar Smith?
hang on.
Oscar Schmidt, one of the greatest basketball players to ever exist, that refused to play for the Nets because he made more money in Italy.
Oh, really?
Never played in the NBA. In the Basketball Hall of Fame and all that, of course, because basketball. But one of the best basketball players ever, man.
After Sassuolo.
from Brazil.
I don't. Just first time.
I think you do know about him, but big fella. He could even play soccer too.
So that's not where I was going. What I was saying was there'd have to be multi-league talent.
Mhm.
Similar to how soccer
Like a
has
Champions League starter.
Ronaldo
Yeah.
playing in multiple leagues and dominating each league. That's the level that I think it'd have to be for it to be another 23.
There is someone like that.
Yeah.
Luca, he dominated.
No.
He dominated Euro, bro. And now he's coming in. He's gonna hit.
So
You can't be signed to a Jordan brand if you're that guy.
no, you're
But
right.
I'm saying, to his
He
point,
only covers 2 of the parameters though.
yeah, well, his career hasn't finished yet.
What's his
No.
defense?
The
It's just about to his. He had good defense.
He's
last
not a
season.
defender,
No,
right?
it's not just necessarily from a talent, but what I'm saying is the league has to compete. Okay, it has to be on that
In
level.
the ratings level, yeah.
It has to be on that level. That's the only way that I could.
There
see
is
it
no
happening.
league other than coming out in the Middle East.
I get that. I'm saying that's how I could foresee that there might be another 23 to even be considered. I still think it's a very high bar for anyone to reach, but if it were possible, that's what it'd have to be.
Yeah,
in my
but that's speaking to my point in saying has to be something new and fresh
Let
Yeah.
me,
and original.
let me put it like this.
So
Like,
it's not per se a 23. It's something new.
I keep referring
no,
to
but that's
talent.
what 23 was. That's what 23
It was
was.
something new.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
but
I keep referring
he's
to,
not copying. If
I'm not
that's what I
saying
mean.
to
Yeah,
copy.
okay.
Yeah.
I keep referring to talent, right? And there's a main reason why I do that because early on, Michaeljordan was decided, okay, this is going to be our poster boy for the league. All right, he's going to be the one we market, and they went hard with marketing him. True, they did. Like everyone's like, oh, they could have done it with anyone.
Mm.
The only thing is,
Except for Jalen Brown.
but this is the thing, right? The only thing is, you can market a player as much as you want, but if they don't follow through with their game,
Yeah.
if they don't have the
100%.
intangibles and the talent that's there to back up that marketing,
Yeah.
it's all going to fall through. You've never had a player fulfill that much hype. LeBron, yeah, he filled up a lot of hype, right? There was a lot of hype around him, but there was never any hype for, okay, there'd been many before him, the Harold Miners, the Grant Hills, all the people that they're looking to replace Mike. It's not the same as being the first one.
That's a
The first-
really good point.
The first one
That-
had to live up to all of that and prove that he could do it.
I want to
I've
stop
never
you on
seen
that
any
point.
other player do that.
I want to stop you on that point, actually. This is one other factor. So when we're talking about 23, there's layers to this, yeah? Everyone is compared to him. Everyone knew he's coming for... I remember in the 90s and the early 2000s, this is the next Michaeljordan. This is the next Michaeljordan. And then now, even till today, there's arguments or talks about Jimmy Butler being his long-lost son.
Anthony Edwards now.
Edwards.
And there's a full...
It doesn't stop.
It's a
investigation.
dossier, yeah.
He was in this town, this, that. His mother was a groupie, this, that. That's how hard they're going in 2024.
Yeah, sorry, I interrupted, but I just wanted to, elaborate on that point. That's really good point. Who else is going to be on that level? I mean, Curry, I'd argue Curry, Trey Young coming in, they were likening him to Curry.
Of course.
People coming after him. Anyone that comes short that is shifty and can shoot
But
is
they
going
did
to
it
be
with LeBron.
compared.
Ben Simmons is the prince and LeBron is the king. Even LeBron came out and said, he's going to be the next me. His crown is heavy.
Yeah.
When that happened, remember when he put on Twitter pretty much, this is my prince, like the king to the prince? That sort of, I think, is what
LeBron was
destroyed
the
him.
one he did.
It's like it's like what happened to all the people that compared to Mike.
No. Destroyed Ben Simmons.
But he was with
The
Clutch as
Kardashians.
well.
Yeah, but this is what was
Sorry,
happening.
what
You
was
remember
that?
that happening?
Kardashians destroyed.
Kardashians. But why
They
didn't it
destroyed
destroy
They
Devin
destroy
Booker?
They
everything.
destroy everything. They destroyed Ray J. Did you see Ray J the other day? He bought a tranny on a show. Now he's talking for trannies, Ray J.
Oh, God.
Like, what are you doing, Ray J?
Come on, bro.
Bro, you're not from the 90s
Come
anymore.
on, bro. But yeah, I think that topic is done and dusted. So there's a lot to be said about it, and I think there's going to be a lot coming as well. Next topic. I'll be honest, I haven't even got a proper structure for today.
No,
'cause
man, we just having a
there's
chat.
there's so much to talk about Michaeljordan. I thought we could literally just
We just have a chat, man.
shoot the shit.
That's
The thing
it.
is, we
No.
always talk, any basketball topic we talk about off the air, Jordan always ends up in discussion, and yeah, it's never ending with us.
Man,
Yeah.
because I think that's like 80% of the world. Like you get on any basketball thread, somehow something's nothing to do with Michael Jordan. All of a sudden, it's like
The GOAT debate.
Jordan shit. He had no left hand. It's like, really?
Yeah.
You LeBron fans? Get out of the comments, bro.
So I think it's
He hasn't
relevant
played
now.
25 years. He's still living in everyone's heads.
I think it's
Unbelievable.
relevant now.
It's
to
called
talk about
free
it.
real estate, my friend. Free real estate.
So we spoke about Kobe. We spoke about Kobe and what people did after he passed to solidify his status in the basketball, minds
Community.
and everything.
Yeah.
With the All-Star game having a structure that was to honor him. Even when he died, we saw that I was watching one of the games and everything stopped. And that was when they found out that there was a helicopter crash. Kobe was in it.
Mm.
The news came in, and then you saw everyone synchronized, honoring him by holding the ball for the whole shot clock and whatnot.
Yes.
That was huge.
We did that here.
Mm.
Do you remember? Every game that happened here at the start, first thing, for 24 seconds, everyone just...
That's huge. That's huge.
This was a worldwide thing. Even domestic rec leagues, everyone was doing it. Like we did it at Bankstown, we did it at Auburn, we did it everywhere.
So
I didn't do it.
So on that,
I was like wasting my time, bro. I paid for this game.
I did. I'll be honest.
Kobe wasn't my boy.
I don't want to turn over.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. Yeah, I did. It wasn't disrespect.
Just something interesting. Have you heard the theory that, like, on the last game that Kobe played, did they hand out Kobe dolls with helicopters?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Apparently, they handed out free toys to everybody, and it was a Kobe/cross helicopter toy. That's
Wow.
crazy, bro.
Wow.
LeBron killed Kobe.
You heard it here first.
I
He
believe
wanted-
that shit.
Because
Breaking news.
Kobe didn't want LeBron to come to LA.
No, I believe that shit. Anyway, let's go. That's for another episode.
So on the Kobe part,
Why is LeBron always getting brought into this
Because
topic?
he's always doing, bro. He controls the media. What do you want us to do? Not fight back, bro.
so on
Not
that
so clutch.
note, like I mentioned, Kobe, when they died, they honored him by doing that. I don't want to wish death on anyone, but if Jordan was to pass,
We'd make a lot of money on cards and shoes and all that, man.
Oh shit!
if Jordan was to pass, what would they have to do to honor him? What would be appropriate? And do we start talking about a indefinite retirement for the number?
Yes, and not just NBA, FIBA as well.
Yeah, so speak on it.
That's Basketball
So-
Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's basketball.
Yeah,
We're talking
that's
about basketball.
basketball, not just NBA. Every single league out there, retire jersey number 23.
So I reckon even take it further.
Go take it further.
I say the logo changes, the NBA logo.
Yeah, well,
To the
that
Jo-
should
to
have
a
changed
Jordan-
by now.
Not to the
So
Jumpman
they
logo.
made that argument for Kobe as well.
Yeah,
they
but
keep making it for everyone.
Yeah, but the thing is, the reality is, Michael Jordan is the only one worthy of that.
Do you
He's
know
the
why
only
they
one
can't
ever
change it,
worthy
bro?
of that. You can't give a man who is accused of rape and all this stuff. Like, let's just be real.
Yeah.
You can't give a man the logo. You have to. The whole thing about Michael Jordan was he kept it squeaky clean. Like he lived up to what they wanted him to. And when he stuffed up, they told him step away for a year, right?
He stayed apolitical, didn't
Yeah,
affiliate
he
with
did what
anything.
he did,
Yeah.
and like, if anyone is deserving of it, it's him. And I'm not talking about the Jumpman logo. That shouldn't be the logo because it's different. Change the logo to a Jordan logo.
Do you know which logo should
Retire 45.
I've
retire
got an idea for
23,
the logo.
and retire number 9.
be? Wait, listen, I've got an idea for the logo.
Just retire
Can't
23.
retire it.
Retire
I've got-
23 at 45 and give him the logo, bro.
I've got an idea for the logo. That leaning dunk he always does. That would be a nice NBA logo.
Yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've seen like thousands of mock ones for him.
But that leaning dunk, that's his icon, traditional dunk.
have you seen the LeBron logo?
No, don't worry about that.
So there has been some teams that have already retired the 23.
Yeah.
Chicago, Miami Heat.
I thought it was only 2 of them.
I think there was a couple, but they're the only ones that
Miami
I've
Heat
got.
for
Yeah,
why?
Miami.
Heat, yeah. They
Because
retired.
of Jordan.
Yeah.
I think Pat Riley.
Pat Riley did it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he loves Michaeljordan.
Nice, huh?
So to consider, a league wide at least retirement isn't unforeseeable. The only problem is, and shout out to the Reddit user that I read this from. I stumbled across this article, but he said the logistics may not work.
Oh, but you can do it for Bill Russell.
So this is what he's saying. So let me read this. Like the issue with Bill Russell's jersey retirement was that you already had teams who will inevitably retire his number 6 jersey for different players. Like say the Miami Heat retiring it for LeBron James. Frankly, I think they waited entirely too long to retire Russell's jersey. And the same logic applies for Jordan's 23. Here's a quick list of blah, 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 and he had a list. But it's a good point because he had such a big influence that all the people coming up in his time till today, 23 was like the number,
But
so
do you honestly believe...
if you retire it, league wide, now, although the players may say, yeah, that's fine, but all the players that have played in those clubs that potentially will be a Hall of Famer and have their jersey retired, what happens?
Like
then?
You can still do that. Look, you can
Well,
still
hold on,
retire
hold on.
their jersey.
Like who?
LeBron.
No, stuff him. Don't worry about him.
So LeBron had,
Cedric Sabalas' number, 23
No,
at the
he's-
Lakers.
he's a
LeBron
fake.
had
He
it at the Lakers, and
not-
he
I
also,
love Cedric Sabalas.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
Cedric Sabalas?
No, I don't like him.
Really?
No.
Why not?
Because he wore 23.
Bro, he was good.
I don't like anyone
I
who
love
wears
Cedric
23.
Sabalas.
No,
I
no,
love
no.
Nick Van Exel, Eddie Jones.
Yeah, I don't like anyone who wears 23. Only Jordan. That's it.
All right.
That's one of the reasons why I don't like LeBron.
There's many reasons for that, but
Yeah.
like, let's be real. He wore it because of Michaeljordan. So he wanted to be like Mike.
That's why I don't
I admire that about somebody. At least they admit it. You know what I mean? They don't just throw shade constantly and not admit that.
No admiration from me. Nothing.
But there's been a few players that have won 23, man.
Not as good as MJ.
Worthy of
Even-
retiring.
Didn't
Exactly.
Butler wore 22?
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? It's not that logistically bad because even if there's people that have worn it, doesn't mean that you can't retire the team club can't retire the number as them as well. Like you can't have why not?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, for example,
Plus,
Melo
yeah.
and Jokic.
Yeah, why not retire it for both of them?
Mm.
Jokic wears it now, so it's current. Why not when Jokic retires, go, okay, we're retiring both of these numbers for 2 of the greats.
That's weird.
15 and 15.
That's weird. Nuggets will never retire Melo's jersey.
They hate him.
Do a quick check. Has any team
They gave
retired
that
the same
number to
number
Jokic.
twice? I know this sounds weird,
No.
but there could have been an ABA team that merged it into the NBA that
Possibly.
retired an ABA number and an NBA number.
I
That'd be
don't think
interesting.
I don't think NBA cares about the ABA.
It's not that I'm saying clubs history, the history of clubs. It's not about the NBA caring. It's
They
the
didn't have
club.
stats back then.
What's it got to do with someone's number?
They didn't have stat recording, so
That's
they wouldn't know numbers back then.
Number's
would-
not a stat.
It's the same thing.
How would they retire it twice though? It'd
I'm
have
saying
to-
if they retired it as an A when they were only in the ABA, and then that same club carried on into the NBA, and then it's
Like,
a
For
it's a new league.
example, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Jabbar,
What was his number before NBA?
32, wasn't it? Was it 32?
Look it up on the stats.
Wait, Milwaukee
there is no
Bucks.
stats.
Milwaukee Bucks. The number's not a stat.
Hey,
can look it up.
How you go look it up?
I'll show you right now. Easy, easy.
ABA.
So while you're doing that, let me just mention a couple of things. So the logistics, okay, I get it, but has there been a permanent retirement of a number in any, at least in the American leagues, whether it be baseball or football? So I've got some figures here, and I thought I'll answer with this. So Wayne Gretzky for ice hockey, he's had his number retired league-wide. Jackie Robinson,
Yeah, Jackie Robinson, 45, yeah?
baseball,
Oh,
I'm not
wait,
sure.
40.
I'm not sure. But that was more to do with the civil rights movement,
yeah.
I think, than it was about not to take anything away from him, but I think it was...
It was
One of the first black player.
yeah. And lastly, Dan Marino, NFL.
Miami Dolphins.
He was awesome.
Ace Ventura.
So it's not unforeseeable. It's not unforeseeable for it
Allegedly.
to happen. So, I mean, I think with all that being said, it seems like it's a no-brainer. And I don't think they need to wait till he dies necessarily.
I have a question. Did the Wizards retire his 23?
I don't know, actually. I thought Rui had it.
Did the Wizards retire number 23? You're trying to find the ABS stat.
It's saying, no, I'm just talking to ChatGPT, right? It's saying Kareem Abdul-Jabbar never actually played in the
No,
ABA.
it's not been officially retired.
He spent an entire professional
is it?
career in the
Wow.
NBA.
Yeah, see, even chat doesn't know.
He wasn't in the ABA.
Yes, he was.
So I'm going to make a statement now.
Yeah.
We need to lobby. Guys, everyone, we need to lobby for Michael Jordan's number to be retired league-wide. It has to be done. Just has to be done. There's no other player that's done what he's done for the league. The influence on culture, pop culture, the influence on
Everything.
economics, the way that the players are earning, nowadays, everything goes back to Jordan's era.
Mm.
Everything goes back to it. I don't think now we can talk about the GOAT debate all day long.
Never played in the ABA.
Continuing on with Michael Jordan. I spoke about briefly about my influence, or my first, exposure to Michael Jordan and NBA. Melbourne, tell me about
shit.
Melbourne and Michael Jordan.
Bro,
The dirty South.
the first time I saw Michael Jordan was on a basketball card.
So did you play
Really?
Yeah.
Did you play
Oh.
basketball before you
I
knew about
played-
Michael Jordan,
I played soccer
or because of
from
him?
4 till 7. So at 6 is when I started. I think from 4 to 6. 6 is when I started playing basketball, and that was because of Michael Jordan. First it was because I didn't like coming home muddy every time sitting in the rain, because back then we used to play in rain. Now I know all these young clubs don't anymore. But I came home one day and we'd won the grand final or whatever, and I said pretty much I don't want to play this anymore. My dad's like, if you choose another sport, you can never quit it, because I've bought you karate stuff, I bought you soccer stuff, nothing else. And I'm a little kid. I'm like, all right, I want to go play basketball.
He's
'Cause
scarred.
I saw this.
He's
Huh?
scarred. Do you need a moment?
Bro, no, he saved me. He saved me from soccer, for the gayest sport of all time. So then he gives me, like, because I had already seen these basketball cards that were going around at school, and we're like 6 years old, like grade 1 or whatever. And I saw the Michael Jordan card. He was sitting on a Bulls floor. I think this is the first card I saw. He's sitting on a Bulls floor and he was looking up, and the Bulls was the middle floor. I think that was the first card I saw, and that's when I got into basketball. And all of a sudden, my uncle, he had an auction house. So I don't know how, like back then we didn't have online shit. So he had a massive warehouse where he'd do auctions, and he would get all these Jordan shoes, NBA gear, cards, everything basketball. He wouldn't send to auction.
Yeah.
He'd save it a box for my grandma. She would bring me home boxes of Slam magazines, cards, shoes, Jordan posters, everything. And all of a sudden, this guy was in my life. And from then on, like everything, Michael Jordan. Every clipping, Michael Jordan on my wall. Clipping from the paper. My whole cupboard was filled with Michael Jordan news clippings, like cards everywhere. Like it was just...
MJ.
Yeah, he took over all the tapes, because I'd get all the tapes. Rare Air, Hang Time, Michael Jordan's Playground. I'd watch Michael Jordan's Playground every single day, bro.
That was a good.
Especially on Saturdays before my game, I'd wake up like 7 in the morning.
That was the Happy Pants era.
Yeah, bro. Like
I remember the colors on the
MC
Michael Jordan
Hammer.
Bill
playground.
Cosby dancing and shit. Like, but I still remember that little kid in that Michael Jordan Playground who was playing in like a long sleeve. And how does this motherfucker wear this long sleeve shirt and play basketball? Like, and that ring was so 9 foot. Like I used to think, I wish, bro. That was my first Jordan experience, and it just blew up right away.
Moz?
My first Jordan experience was copping a slap, making sure I had to record the game for my oldest brother.
Yeah, that was Channel 10
At like
late at night.
12 to 2 in the
Channel
morning.
10 was the only one playing there.
They cut off the last 3
with
minutes of the
Steve
game.
Carfino
Steve, no, it was
and the tiger. What was that tiger? The mascot?
wasn't Steve Carfino. It was the other guy, Sports Tonight guy, Steve. Was it Steve? Oh, you know what I'm talking about, the white guy, Bill. Oh my
They
god,
had the mascot as well, the tiger.
the mascot was for the
Wheaties,
Melbourne
wasn't it?
Tigers.
No,
What
no,
do
it
you
was,
mean?
no, it was on Channel 10. They had,
I don't remember the mascot.
I think it was a cereal. They used that.
Wheaties.
I can't remember.
All I remember is they used to always cut off the last 3 minutes of the game, and I'd record those games. I'd take my dad's tapes and I'd put tape over it,
The sticky
and I'd
tape.
put it in the
Yeah.
VHS recorder, record the game, and it would always be like the last 3 minutes of the game were gone.
Bill Woods. That's who it is.
Mm.
Bill Woods.
I think
Yeah,
we had
but Steve
different TV in
Carfino
Melbourne.
later on in the 90s.
Yeah, Steve Carfino, my boy.
But yeah, that was my first experience of Jordan. Obviously, you had
How
to.
old were you then?
Don't worry about
probably
age, man.
6,
So that was your first
5.
experience with Jordan. So you had to-
5.
5, 6. 5, 6.
You're doing the tapes at 5.
Yeah.
You worked out how to do that shit at 5.
Nah, my brother taught me.
Bro, genius.
Yeah, because he was.
I was doing that shit like
I'll tell
7,
you.
8,
I'll
9.
tell you why.
we were building PC as well as a teenager. So
Yeah, but not at 5.
no, I'm saying we were always like passionate about that
Yeah.
stuff.
The reason why I was stuck recording was because he was always out playing, so he wouldn't be able to watch the games until he came home after.
Yeah.
Remember you wouldn't remember, but you would. We used to go play in the city, the 2-on-2 comps.
3-on-3. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I got stuck with that duty, but yeah, that was my first experience with Jordan, and I've got coming up my first favorite moment from watching Jordan.
So for me, look, I spoke about it briefly, but my older brother, that was my first experience. He had Jordan everything. Jordan cards, I still remember my first Jordan shoes. I remember buying them. I don't remember what they were called. They were one of the team shoes. I wish I could remember so I can capture it because I saved up for them.
I've still got my
I saved up for
Chicago
them
Bulls jacket
because
from
we
back
didn't
then.
grow up rich.
No.
We're still not rich, but we didn't grow up rich. So, we had to scrap for that money. And I was doing like milk runs. I was working with
Oh,
a
the
fruiterer.
newspaper.
I was working with the fruit guy.
Remember when you did newspaper runs?
Yeah, I did that for like a minute.
And then literally got our dad to take him back and give the newspapers back.
Yeah, so so I saved up and I went to InSport and I bought my first shoes. And at the time, the shoes they had them marked a wrong price. It was for a different shoe, and they were trying to tell me that no, it's actually higher. And I had just enough for that shoe.
Mm.
So I argued. I'm like, no. I think I was like 17, maybe. I argued. I said, no, I want this shoe. You've got it listed for this price. It has to be this price. No, I can't give it to you. I'm like, and I was a little shit. You know me.
Mm.
I'm like, well, that's false advertising.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, call your manager. That's false advertising. And I forced them to give me a discount, and I ended up getting those shoes. They were my favorite shoes to play in, even though they were. If I look back on it now, the tech that they had on there would have been trash. It was one of the team shoes. But that was a Jordan experience. But basketball in general, and I say this to all the youth, man, not that this is some PSA announcement, but we grew up in a town where we were the only ethnic people in that town.
Mm.
Okay. In my day, there was no ethnic people in the school. It was completely white.
What school did you go to?
Oh,
It was
my God.
white.
Yeah.
Where? What?
So
Right, it was that white where the Aboriginals.
you can't say it. You can't say
the
that.
Aboriginals would join in with the whites with the racist slurs against
Wait,
us.
let me ask
Hang
you
on,
something.
hang on.
Was this the early
You
90s?
can't say that. You can't say
Yes.
white. No, I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because in year 10,
Okay, those islanders.
in year 10, there were more ethnic people. Okay, in
Islanders
our time,
are not ethnic.
In our time, the most ethnic person.
That's right, they're not.
They're not.
The most ethnic person that we had was a white Maltese guy that was called Steve.
Yeah, but
okay.
I can say for Sackville. Like
Hang on.
Primary school.
Hang on. My point is, we copped a lot of racism. What people now would say abuse. Back then, it was just no. You're just copying it because you're different.
Is this like 1991, 92?
The early 90s.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Because this same thing my wife told me when she came here from South Africa that it was.
Yeah.
She went to Hornsby
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like there was no one.
So, yeah.
So I can
91,
understand for you
92.
So-
guys, like
yeah,
in
yeah.
these
So
areas,
that's-
Sydney.
That's what we grew up in, right? And
That's true. In Sydney.
the only way
Rubbish.
to kind of bridge that gap was through team sports. in my
100%.
opinion. That broke all the barriers.
You smash them all.
Okay,
Like,
I
you white
played-
people.
I played everything.
Oh, bro.
Okay, but basketball was my first love,
Mm.
and it continues to be a passion. And it was all because my brother was into Michaeljordan. I followed in his footsteps and ended up wanting to compete with him. So naturally,
Mm.
Michaeljordan was the indirect influence on me. But of course, I followed his career and I loved watching him play, three-peat after three-peat. I mean, come on, how could you not like that? So that was a nice little trip down memory lane. I think what we'll do is we'll move it on, since it is MJ. The most iconic thing from MJ that crosses many boundaries is his brand and his shoes. So let's roll the kick check.
MJ to go, Jordan. The one and only Black Cat. His anus.
The black wicked diggity.
Be careful about that.
Ooh.
It might fall.
They will not. They will
I'm
not
wearing
break.
these Jordan 1s
Oh, yeah.
in honor of Michaeljordan, because I just thought it was appropriate with all the newspaper clippings. Candice Man
Oh, yeah.
stopped. Jordan again dominates.
Oh, yeah.
The GOAT.
Keep
Can
it going.
anyone stop him?
Keep it going.
That's all the article says. It's just on repeat.
I love it.
I love him. It's just, I think it's
I love the suede.
perfect piece for this episode.
It's very nice.
Very nice.
It's a very nice one. I like it, bro.
Yeah, well, not much more to say other than that.
Can
They
you
are
dunk
just
in them?
shoes, to be honest. Man, I can't even run in these.
Mm.
I can't jog in these.
But how sick would it be if you can dunk in the Jordan 1s?
If I could put insoles in these,
What do you mean
then
if
I reckon
you
I could
can?
play
You
them.
can.
No, but if I put my insoles in these, I reckon I could play in them.
But I'm asking, could you dunk in them?
I could grab the rim in them. I couldn't dunk in them. No way.
I want to dunk, bro.
I'd fall down and break my ankle. Look
You,
at
a
this.
minute
Look at
ago,
this
you were
support.
just singing, I believe I can fly. Now you're saying I can't fly.
I believe I can fly. believe I can
He's loving it. Alrighty. We're here. These are the Jordan 28s. My very first favorite Jordan shoes to play in.
The Jordan clown shoes.
This colorway is called the Fresh Prince. For all those Fresh Prince fans out there, this is the colors that he had inside his high school jacket. But yeah, on a serious note, I love these, man. I love the yellow and the purple. Then you got the funky bunch Fruity Loops happening around the edges, but on the soles, shebang. I love them. When you're running up and down the court and people see these, they're like, he's the one. he's the one.
They remind me of something Russell Westbrook would wear,
But-
for some reason.
Bro, these have pillows in the insoles, bro. You got massive
For
zoom
now.
unit.
For now.
Massive zoom unit, both in the front and the back. Wow. They're all ahead of their time.
Bounce.
2015, 2014, something like that.
Listen, we don't count years with the Gregorian calendar. We count them by the number of Jordans.
Exactly.
That's the 28, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to know how old
28.
These, yeah, before the 36s came out, these were the shoes to wear on the court for me.
That was the shiz.
And before these, it was the
Hyper
Hyper
dunks.
Dunks. Yeah, but yeah, these ones
Nice.
got me over the Hyper Dunk era.
28s were by far
Yeah.
the GOAT shoe of the
100%.
past.
If
From-
they re-released them, I guarantee they would sell out.
A different color.
Yeah,
There's
the
many.
colorways.
There's
that
many.
are-
There's a UNC one. Remind me when
Yeah.
we go downstairs. I'll show you.
Oh, bro.
The blue
color,
ones,
yeah, the colorways on these, ridiculous.
That's the only
Cool.
thing that throws me off.
But yeah, that's the Shoe King showing you how it's done. Alrighty,
Here we go.
Mr. Nabs.
See, I'm doing it a little bit old school versus new school type of vibe.
Are they even Jordans, bro?
So these are the Jordan
You got them from Timu.
Jordan Protos. So if you have a look at them, they've got all kinds of weird, funky stuff. So this is when they first introduced the React cushion into the Jordans. This is lifestyle meets basketball kind of shoe. And if you have a look under it, it's modeled off the Air Jordan 1. So this funny sheet thing that goes over it, you've got the red and black underneath that models the bread Jordan colorway. So you can see a lot of yellowing on this stuff. So eventually I plan to modify them by cutting that top layer off and just exposing the red and black, I reckon.
The raincoat or the condom?
Yeah, that. You know, it does. Honestly, man, it's weird. It's like...
Take a pic
It's
of
like
One of those rolls. You know those rolls? You know, Chinese places
the the rust rop.
yeah, that's what it is. They call it ripstop.
You should be able to rip it right off.
Ripstop. But yeah, pretty funky. So old school meets new school. So I thought I'd...
Old school always takes it, baby.
yeah. That was the kicks of the week, or kicks check. Let us know who had the best kicks. Was it yours, Moz, or
Always,
myself?
it's always me, bro. You don't need to ask.
I know your G-string ones weren't winners. I'll tell you that.
They still won.
You had to hide the thong.
They still won.
So-
G-banger.
Anything that's got cleaner soles than your shoes always wins.
No, it means I actually respect the shoe and wear it.
No, brother.
Let's sit there.
So this is a
Respect
basketball
that.
episode. So
Underwear
let's bring it
job.
back.
There you go.
We're going to speak
Victoria's
about...
Victoria's Secret.
That was a G-banger shoe.
That's a G-bagger, right? In your face.
the fact you hit it. As well.
But have you seen Kobe and KD have got even worse ones,
Shit,
man?
bro. The ones that got up to
KD, the
this-
duck shoe.
I
the
never
duck shoe.
understood those the Jordans
Yeah,
too.
that
Like
was
they
pretty
come
bad.
up to what the
Oh,
the hell was that?
29s.
Why?
Yeah.
They're nice.
Kobe had them too, but
The elites, yeah.
Mm.
So we're gonna do one final story. This is MJ related. This is basically an attack on his legacy. Now, I wouldn't say I'm a stan or a fan or one of those, but I think we have to address this. There's been a lot of rumors, call it a conspiracy, whatever, that for a while now there have been people trying in the media that have been planted to try to change the narrative of Michaeljordan's success on the court, his legacy, his accolades, etc. One recent thing that's come out is the Clutch Sports, or Rich Paul and Clutch Sports, have purposely been buying or affiliating with certain media personalities to change the narrative or to push a narrative that LeBron is in the GOAT discussion, whether it be 1 and 2 or vice versa, to try to influence the new generation of LeBron's greatness at the level of MJ's. So I'm going to kick it to Yoz, who's going to explain a bit more about what's going on, who are the players, and where we're at right now with this.
no shit. Look, I was just from what I've been reading, what I've been watching and stuff. Like, it's like what we talked about a while ago. Remember when LeBron went on that podcast with JJ Redick, and I go, LeBron's very smart because he's aware how many platforms JJ's actually on. So it's get all buddy with him. It's not just about the coaching. He knows he can have a mouthpiece on mainstream media, on the podcast, and other areas as well. And we had an in-depth discussion about that, and it was interesting because it's become even more apparent that certain players like Nick Wright and this Tom Habastro and who's that other fella?
Media players, you mean?
Yeah, media players. Of course. Well, you think I'm talking about NBA players?
I was going to say, I've never seen
no way.
Nick
So
So
Wright.
these
explain.
started to push certain narratives out there, especially like with the attack on Jordan's 1988 Defensive Player of the Year season.
Yeah.
I know that this happens a lot with players. We've seen it with, who was it?
Why the defensive player? Why not anything else? So explain why that would be significant.
Because LeBron James,
LeBron James.
one of the massive knocks on his career is the fact that he's never made a defensive player of the year. He's never won the defensive player of the year, or even made nearly
never
enough.
will.
Yeah, and never will.
So
and
when
this is
comparing
something that's
side by
elusive.
side, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
elusive to LeBron. It'll always be, well, you're not you don't play two sides of the ball, and you didn't achieve that. I mean, Michaeljordan did it while winning 10 scoring. Like, how many scoring titles?
No, bro, he was killing it.
10,
Like
yeah.
10 scoring titles. Still, he had 2 defensive player of the year seasons, but won 1 defensive player of the year. And this is something that's always eluded LeBron James. So it's a major factor on what they need to chip away on.
Yeah.
To try,
to even out the scales.
to try
so to
minimize the work that Jordan did on both ends of the court, which is insane. If anybody ever watched him, it's absolutely insane. And the more I dug into it, like, I could be wrong, but the more I dug into it, it becomes apparent that the 6-game sample piece that, Tom Haberstroh made a massive essay about is footage that is impossible to get.
6,000-word essay.
Yeah, it's footage that's impossible to get. Like, apparently these records, like, from what I heard, again, I could be wrong, but these are on some dodgy VHS tape somewhere in Russia. Like, no fake news, no, but like, we can't access these games. So as long as we can't access these games, we can't review these ourselves, I'll take what you said, your 6,000-page essay, and use it as fucking toilet paper, because it's bullshit. You need to, like, science. Like, let's use a scientific method here. We need to observe something to come up with the theory. We can't just start saying willy-nilly whatever we want just to diminish a man's career. Like, what is it with these people that they work so hard to take away from someone who brought so much to the game of basketball? Then the disrespect. Then you start thinking, these welcome to the 90s random YouTube players, who's pushing this? Are they just random guys going through every piece of film, going, oh, look at this, and spending hours and hours of their life watching these things to make these YouTube clips? Or is somebody saying, hey, do this, we're gonna...
I don't think it's that deep.
Oof.
I'll tell you why. Because
it is that deep,
bro. It's deep.
I'll tell you,
it's deep, bro.
not from the youth. Not from the youth. Bro, he's not Dwight Howard, bro. He's not Dwight Howard.
He's deep.
deep.
The reason I say it's not that deep is because there's a whole new generation of kids that are confused.
Because of this,
your boy, Melo's son, Kia,
but he said PG was the guy.
That's
so
my
obviously
point.
It's not working.
That's my point.
You know why he's saying that.
There's a whole generation of, let's face it, I don't want to use a derogatory word.
Jahil, like ignorant people.
Ignorance, good. There's a whole new generation of ignorant people who don't understand what basketball is, was, and where it's at. So I don't think it's that deep from a YouTuber perspective. From a media perspective, I think definitely.
But who's the media now? We've discussed this many times. So
no, but I'm not talking about some random, kid with, clips
millions of followers.
Yeah, I think that happened after the fact, though.
Yeah,
let's face it. He had exposure on Gil's Arena, on all the major.
Another thing. Remember when I told you, like, I stopped watching Gilbert's Arena as soon as Rich Paul went on that show.
Yeah.
Because the moment Rich Paul went on that show and they had that discussion about the GOAT, and you told me you hadn't seen it, but I'm sure you've seen it since, where he talks about how LeBron's antlers are in platinum, but Michael's are in gold and shit like that. Ever since then, Gilbert's took a massive change in the way he speaks about Michaeljordan and LeBron James.
I don't think it was that. I think he's out there to be the more educated or seemingly educated Kendrick Perkins.
And
but I just want No, I'm saying yeah, I agree with you.
The one guy to be more educated than.
No, because he
cat.
tries to speak. He
100%.
tries to speak from a player level, and he tries, like, he comes across. He's got this technique where he gives you that false sense of security that because the way he talks doesn't sound very articulate or very academic, but then he hits you with, facts or non-facts or half-truths.
Yeah, full script.
Okay, that are very calculated. So he lulls you into that, I don't know what I'm talking about kind of thing, and then bam, undercuts you. But I want to circle it back to the media. What do you think of Clutch Sport? So you spoke about Nick Wright. What do you think about Clutch Sport representing media personalities? And Do you think that this is obviously it's a conflict of interest, but where do you see this, like, first of all, from an ethical perspective and moving forward, as we're growing more and more media outlets, social media, etc. What do you think about this whole thing
Um,
and influence on the game?
so just to touch on the influence, to go back to your point about Melo's son Kai.
Needs a freaking athlete, that guy.
So, in relation to why, obviously he was trolling, saying PG was a GOAT,
I don't know if he's trolling.
but it's not just him; it's that generation coming in. And from my perspective, why they're saying that the people they're currently watching are the GOATs is because they're finding these players are easier to emulate than it would be to emulate Jordan's game. And I'll give an example of what I mean. People cannot, in this new generation, even in just this post-modern generation, couldn't emulate the Skyhawk, let alone try to emulate MJ's game. So this is why there's that disconnect from that 90s era game. Look, from the new generation.
But nobody did it like Kareem then and now. Nobody
but
did
he's
it.
Jack Landau.
No,
but listen,
that's a baby hook.
That was a
Talk
joke.
about that whole.
I know.
Yeah, but he's like, and it's been brought up by commentators and media and this and that. The guy's still alive to still teach it.
Yeah, good point.
You know what I mean? It's just people don't want to learn it because they're looking at the move and they can't fathom themselves to emulate that move for their style of play. They're growing up, and this is how they're being produced in America, right? They're being brought up to watch current NBA games as study, as research.
Yeah, which remember, why is so, like when Kareem's doing those moves, why they're not referring to those games now is because back then 3&D key on defense didn't exist. So
Yeah.
you needed to, there's certain aspects of the game that's changed around that area.
But the thing is, I agree. But they're not watching those games because they're not using those games as research to develop their game to get into the NBA. So while they're developing their game at a young age, they only have time to watch current games. So in their point of view, these current games, this current era, this current evolution of the NBA, for them, this is the GOATs of their...
I can guarantee
you get what I mean?
I can guarantee college coaches that are making them watch pros.
But listen to this. All the postmodern or whatever players that are entering retirement now, you ask them who the GOAT is to them, and they'll refer back to the 90s now.
Even
but when they're
playing now,
when they entered, they wouldn't, because they didn't have time to watch any of the 90s. They felt like, why should I watch old moves? I want to watch current moves. I want to watch how current players are playing.
AI and up.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I think it's more
because everyone needs to have a bag.
That's what I think the problem is.
It is.
Everybody wants to have a bag, but
and they don't want old bag. They want the new bag.
It's not that they don't want old bag. It's that the difference is back then you're watching fundamentals. Now you're watching the bag. It doesn't teach you fundamentals. You can have the same move every single time you're down the court, but without fundamentals, it's going to be useless because basketball's a team game. Michaeljordan wasn't an ISO, like when I say wasn't an ISO player, he wasn't a ball dominant player. Like you got LeBron, he'll bring the ball up, he'll dribble the shot clock away. That wasn't Jordan. Jordan played in a system. So if you want to watch how to play basketball, you watch those plays because they are a system player. You wait for the ball to come to you. You make the moves off the ball.
To both your points, we see quite a common practice session that we see is this king of the court type of thing. One dribble shot.
Yeah.
Shot into
3 second shot.
But listen.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
And
so
hit the nail on the head on that.
A bag for that.
No,
well, hold on.
That's practicing late second shot clock moves.
But to hit the nail on the head with that, they're not practicing rebounds either. They're not practicing proper defense.
You reckon get Ben Wallace to coach them?
No, the thing is, they're relying on, okay, he's going to take one dribble, so I know he's not going to do anything after that. So they're not, in hindsight, thinking of, okay, after this dribble, I need to be in this position in case it crosses me over. Their development is wrong in the sense that They think everything on the court is one move and that's it. There's nothing after that one move to defend.
So that's cool. That's cool. But I wanted to bring you back to the media.
But
part.
yeah. That's what I was.
But before we go back to media, just one quick thing. Let me ask you one thing.
Yeah.
How many young players in the league have Durant as their GOAT? In the
Wemby.
league, I'm saying. Like in the league. A lot of players look at him like, oh, he's one of the...
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not saying the GOAT, but in
Wemby.
their head, he's our GOAT.
Wemby.
His, yeah,
Yeah,
all the
right?
tall players. Poco and...
Kevin Durant, literally his game is studied on Jordan and Kobe.
Mm.
The two dribble pull up, the one step pull up, everything that they do is what he implemented into his game.
Mm.
So if he's the one that's your GOAT, who is he watching?
Yeah.
He ain't watching you young
There's-
guys with your dribble. He doesn't do all this.
There's a dominus.
He's got a cross.
I'll
he's
be
got
honest.
a cross.
That's one of my favorite plays to watch.
because he's very similar,
From-
except he's just
Yeah, from my perspective, because I don't have a good handle, and he's very efficient with his handle. So
he doesn't
I try
do
to use
too
that.
much.
Yeah,
It's not too
He
much.
does just enough.
You got a nice screen or you got a nice two dribble pull up. That's all
Yeah.
you need. As
Get
long as
to
you
your
get your
spot.
shot down.
get to your spot.
That's right.
Yeah,
So I touched on the influence part. To get back to the media with Clutch and trying to have a dominoes, not dominoes, but try to centralize the media to their liking. I think they're setting up Kobe to be an NBA team owner. This is
Kobe?
Kobe.
not Kobe, sorry,
I was
LeBron.
gonna say, bro, I'm from the grave.
LeBron.
LeBron. So they're trying to set up LeBron to be the owner of a league right now, and this is
The league, yeah.
no, not the league, but
But what do you?
a team
Okay,
in the league.
yeah, but coming back to the conspiracy,
We're talking about money
The
going
conspiracy.
to media to
the conspiracy theory goes that Clutch Sports or LeBron's camp is purposely planting media personalities
Mm-hmm.
to change the narrative of his legacy to be on par or above Jordan. So he's in the GOAT discussion constantly. The narrative needs to be pushed like this. So this was what the conspiracy is. Okay, and there's evidence to show now that a lot of media personalities are Clutch Sports. They have them as their agent. Nick Wright, Chris Broussard, and I think there might be more. So what do you think on that? Like, what?
They're trying to centralize the media.
But remember,
That's
they're trying to not only like do what he's saying, they're actually going to the level of Michaeljordan never deserved Defensive Player of the Year. It was a fraudulent award and it should be redacted. Brother, that's that's how hard they're actually going at this. They're not just saying, "Oh, LeBron's better." They're attacking the man's accolades now, which he earned.
Yeah.
Like he was one of the first guys. He was the first guard ever to win Defensive Player of the Year. The only guard, wasn't he? Now it's
Yeah, it's
also-
normally centers and forwards.
now
yeah.
it's also Marcus Smart and it was Gary Payton. So it was Gary Payton and him, the only point guards to ever. The only guards to ever win Defensive Player of the Year. Now, to try to take that away from you, you've just told all these young guys who grew up saying, "No, you have to play both ends of the ball hard." Well, Michaeljordan didn't.
Isn't it interesting that this came out, I think, after or around the same time that was it the Timberwolves? There was that leak of the statistician from the Timberwolves, I think,
Yeah,
saying that he would often,
here and there, give it extra.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
At home. Yeah,
and he would do it to the innocuous type of stats. So where it could have gone either way, he would prefer this player over that player.
but he took it from 6 games of
But
Jordan.
it happened around the same time
Yeah.
where this leak came out, and then the 6,000 word essay came out.
Give us the games. Let us watch the games. Where's the footage? Otherwise, shut your mouth, bro. Like Tracy McGrady nearly slapped your ass for the same shit doing it to Kobe. Man, shut up, Tom.
But
Slander.
with the defensive player of the league or year, isn't it the media votes for it like every other award?
Sports writers, broadcasters through US and Canada.
There you go. My point is, if you can centralize the media, what are you doing in the future? Anyone that's a clutch player
That's a good point.
Before 81, it was decided by the players.
That's a good point. So anyone,
before 81.
But now it's key members of sports media,
Thank you.
writers, broadcasters, and media
Thank you.
personalities.
So what does that mean? So if they're on in Clutch Sports Pocket,
No, but and this just goes back to, okay, if it's not about his stats, he deserved it because the media witnessed it. The people then witnessed it with their eyes, and they decided he's the defensive player of the year.
yeah, but
He was one of the most covered games.
I'm trying to bring it further than that. I'm trying to say that he's bringing up how I feel about Clutch putting media members in their pocket, and I'm saying that Clutch is trying to get a centralized media personnel in order for them to control the narratives with awards, i.e., one of them being in particular that we're talking about, the defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
So they now can control that end of the league now, on top of whatever else they want to control with their agency. What's it called? Clutch Sports.
Clutch.
But yeah, and then to go on further with that,
They got LeBron stunning
the people talking, the media that's complaining about MJ not deserving the defensive player of the year and whatnot. You guys are the only ones got to blame. You guys are the ones that voted for it.
No, but they're not, right? I will tell you one thing, but
Why?
this whole
The media was the one that gave him the defensive.
back then, not this new media, not these people.
I'm saying,
yeah, but I'm saying not the ones. I'm saying it's a new camp now,
doesn't
and
matter.
they're trying to change. But that's what I'm saying, right? Look, think
the
about
new
it.
camp still works with the old camp.
Think about
That's
it
what
like
I'm
this:
saying.
Rachel Nichols, she gave a fair analysis of Bronny James, correct? She didn't tear him down. She actually said at the end of the thing, you know, we have to wait and see. You know, for a 55th pick, there shouldn't be this much. And she gave a fair analysis.
The only one that
what's
said
the first thing? Yeah, but what's the first thing LeBron did? Unfollowed Rachel Nichols straight away, and that was a massive thing. He unfollowed her because she said this instantly. Like, it just shows that there's a sort of pattern.
Anything he can't control, he unfollows.
Yeah, exactly
it's
right.
Just anything he can, and that's why he's got
Bayless.
Clutch. That's why he's got Clutch there too. So that
We
way
should
he
call
can
Skip
control.
to come do a cameo, man.
But
you know, you can get him on Minect.
But listen. What's one thing that's going to deter this? That one thing Clutch isn't going to be able to control.
His son's ability to play the game.
No.
Okay.
Well, that Players TV.
Yeah, I saw this, but
Oh yeah.
They're not. If they're not associated with Clutch.
But you got Draymond Green as well as a Clutch.
Yeah, that's what. But
Like, how many players are Clutch?
Have you seen Players TV? It just,
yeah, just
No, I
came
saw
out.
the thing you
So,
put
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
thing.
Paul,
Have you looked
Chris
at that?
Paul, Shanae, Bumike.
It's
and
like a whole
few other-
TV
But you
channel
know-
just of players.
you
Yeah,
know,
but
I
Chris
was
Paul's
watching that.
LeBron's bum buddy.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
He's a banana boat.
He
isn't
doesn't. He does a bit around the bush. Chris
Dwayne
Paul.
Wade's involved, all of
Yeah,
them.
another.
But
Even
for
Dwayne
Friday.
Wade. Even Dwayne Wade's come out.
But
and
the
said
problem-
MJ's a goat.
No, he's always said that, but it's
Yeah.
not about
no,
that.
he's part of Players TV.
Yeah, it's.
But what I'm saying is this new initiative, we've been talking about it for a while. We spoke about it a few episodes ago, how the media is changing to be more player dominated. My problem is, okay, we're talking about Clutch Sports.
Who
I
owns
believe-
the media.
Yeah, I believe that these players, so we know these players are represented, right?
Mm.
These represented players are part of other agencies that have players that they have to, and the cream of the crop of that agency will need to be propped up from a marketing perspective, because when that person wins, they all win,
Mm.
right? It's a trickle down effect. But what I'm saying is, I think there needs to be a level of transparency on who's represented. And just like with YouTube and other sites where they say that this is a sponsored, video, or that there's parts of it that are affiliated or whatever, there needs to be that level of transparency at the very least.
But-
So whenever Stephen A talks, it should say Stephen A is represented by the agency that
Yeah.
represents XYZ.
But this was something I brought up before, and I've been saying it consistently throughout episodes when we talk about new media. I say, but this is the tricky part. There's going to be new media that poses as new media that is not new media.
And that's
It's
what's
still-
happening
yeah,
with Players
it's
TV.
still
That's my
controlled by the
concern
media.
with Players TV.
And it's like when I drew that parallel with Don Lemon, right? He's his own podcast, and it was controlled. It's still a CNN. It's still the CNN
Yeah.
talking
Mm.
points, and everything was like, "Whoa, who's really controlling this media?" There's no, as you said, there's no regulation.
But do you know what they lose when they do something like this? Authenticity.
Mm.
Okay, because now because what they're doing is they're trying to compete with the podcast culture.
Yeah.
They're trying to compete with the social media. Okay, the influence is coming from social media, and what I believe is going to happen is players, TV, and things like this. And now the problem is, I think Draymond Green ruined it for everyone, because we're seeing an evolution in Draymond Green's reporting. Okay, so to speak. Before it was raw, it was hardcore, it was all of that. Not to
It was
start
similar
rapping.
to Charles Barkley.
But now you're seeing a little bit watered down type of reporting from Draymond Green, and instead he's trying to say things that are similar to the method that the old media does to try to capture, more views and whatnot. Like talking about Steve Kerr's coaching for the Olympics. What are you doing? That's your coach, bro. What are you doing? I know there shouldn't be things off limit, but some things should be. Locker room's sacred,
that's
man.
exactly right. You don't need to report on yourself. Report on others.
Yeah.
But don't just keep...
Well, I've always had an issue with current players doing anything.
Well, there used to be something where there was clauses in contracts where they couldn't just go be willy-nilly with the media. You could lose your job or get massive fines.
Well, they still get fined for tampering, kind of.
Where you work, I'm not going to say where he works, but where you work, you have a social media code of conduct, correct? Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, of course.
And these multi-millionaires don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, because they can put a ball in a hole in a hoop.
No,
like that famous reporter said, "Shut up and dribble."
Yes, I agree with that.
Wasn't that
like
Charles?
Michaeljordan says?
No.
Republicans buy sneakers too.
No, some who was it? Was it CNN or Sky News?
It was that lady, wasn't it?
Yeah, she copped a lot of
I
heat,
know,
bro.
but she's right.
But she didn't mean it in a racist.
No, it wasn't that. It was the fact that LeBron James has gone on this whole BLM shit. At the same time, he's gone through all that slave labor in China.
And he didn't know what he was talking about.
No,
and she's like, "Listen, stick to your lane. Shut up and dribble."
Exactly right.
But bro,
I loved when LeVar Ball said to her, "Stay in your lane."
Yeah.
So
I love LeVar Ball.
Let's wrap on that.
He should have a podcast.
Let's wrap.
Let's wrap on that, and we'll move into one of our favorite segments, the clip of the week. And this week, it's a special edition clip of the week.
Oh yeah,
episode 23. You know we got to do MJ clips. So let's start with the first one. Who should I do first? I'll do my one, because it was just on the LeBron topic type of thing. So let's roll this baby.
Bloody LeBron.
So LeBron coming out in the 75 best player celebration ceremony. They did LeBron dirty on that one though.
And Mike's so drunk there, that? He's off his head.
Yeah, I love the crowd.
They did LeBron dirty.
I don't know if you know, Adam Silver spoke on this.
What?
Have you heard it?
About how joyful Mike was when he was
No. He goes, the atmosphere changed when Jordan entered the room.
He barely comes. Well, that's
no.
Listen,
listen. So what he said.
There's a lot of talk on aura lately. Have you noticed?
But listen to what he said. He goes, "We're in the room full of mega stars of basketball,
and he is the mega of the mega."
And listen, and he goes, Jordan walks in, and you see everyone's head just turn and look. He goes, the room is full of these guys, top 75. And he goes, every single one of them turned and just looked. It's like
it's wild.
Nothing else.
No one got on his level. Even as men, just as men, they never. As a man today, would just be like, even if Jordan was, I wouldn't be like, I wasn't his contemporary. Now, it'd be like just meeting a guy, right? Because our ethos and our just the way we view life. Right? Yeah, you're not above me. Like you're great at what you did. Congratulations.
Yeah, you're not gonna like.
I'm not a
these guys.
I froth over your game. I don't froth over you, mate.
But these guys
first thing I'd want to do.
They never pass that.
First thing I want to do is get him on a court.
Yes.
That's the only
even
thing
at 60, if I beat you at 60,
Khalas. I'm telling the whole. It's
I don't care.
Family tree.
I shot around with Michaeljordan. I don't give a crap.
Listen, on the family tree, or say, my name, and then in brackets, beat Jordan.
Even if I didn't, just playing with him, that would be awesome. No diddy.
Imagine-
100%. You want to play
So
with
this
Jordan.
is Yoz's one.
All
Show
right.
yours. What's your one?
This is
Iman
LeBron's teammate.
Shumpert.
Iman Shumpert.
Jordan or
And
LeBron,
Melos.
who's the GOAT? I would be like, Mike gotta play me one-on-one. I low-key think Mike's so competitive, bro. Mike could come out of retirement right now to play LeBron.
Yeah, 100%.
I take an L. Calm down. Take a serious L. You know how Mike Jordan play? You've never seen him just sitting down and just get up in his street club. And every time you think, like, this can't dunk no more. But don't you think the level of competition has been a lot more insane for LeBron? Are you being serious? The first time he went against the Spurs, that was before Kawhi. That's like peak man. So you think Mike and Scotty wasn't gonna blow that out? He played a Thunder team with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden in the finals. Who was gonna guard Mike on that Thunder team? It wasn't gonna be KD. He don't want to do it. Who was gonna guard Mike? Scotty P was gonna guard KD. Mike was defensive team. He was gonna take Russ. Who we got to deal with? James Harden.
That laugh, James Harden.
That laugh.
Yeah,
That laugh. But he's
Yeah.
right. That was a young
was
team.
wild,
They
man.
had no experience.
I-
They had no business being there.
Shaq uses that same
What?
ideology. Who's gonna guard me?
Yeah, well, that's true. Shaq
Yeah.
was an animal,
Who's gonna guard me? He's like,
bro.
bro.
If you had a team of Michael Jordan and Shaquille O'Neal,
Who's
if,
got?
if Jordan
Yeah.
had what Kobe had
Oh
in
my
Shaq,
god!
fuck, forget about it.
Forget it, bro.
Forget about it.
Oh,
If,
good.
if he
Forget it.
was
That's for days,
able,
yeah.
if he was able to manage Rodman, he would be able to manage Shaq.
Oh, Shaq, yeah, 100%. Shaq's just ego, bro. Nothing else.
All right, final clip.
This is my
Oh,
favorite.
Jesus.
Larry
Jesus in
Bird.
Jesus.
I love this.
This was the first playoffs. I think it was.
Yeah,
Jordan's
this is
first
when
playoffs.
he was injured and he forced himself into
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah, he had a
68?
he had a
Yeah.
40-point or what was it?
68.
Yeah, that's
This is my favorite
game, man.
Jordan. Just this.
he had help.
tried
He
to-
had help.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro, I tried to emulate this move growing up.
I did this move. bro.
I
the quick underleg. I
you know,
did that so
and this
many
move
times.
would still work in this day.
Yeah,
All
100%.
right, let's roll it.
Players can get an offensive
Yes,
rebound.
yes, comes
Make a
down.
direct pass to one of those free players.
Bang, bang,
I've
bang.
done that.
Oh,
I've done that many times.
oh my god, bro.
Shake and
That's
bake
a
Stutter step,
triple crossover, bro.
on Larry Bird, man.
bro.
He had what? 3 inches, 4 inches.
I managed
did
to
he?
get the double crossover, that third one,
That was
because that third one is a full step into a step back.
You know what's
Bro,
funny?
it is
People
hard.
say Mike didn't have his, like there was no step backs back then. If you go through Michael Jordan's
He
step backs,
had-
he's been doing a
oh
step
my
back for years
God.
in a league where you'd get called travels if it was any
He
half
originated
a step
this.
more.
So that was the clips of the week. Jordan edition, 23 edition. If you have any submissions, if you think that there's better clips, I'm sure there are. He's got a long history. Put them in the comments. Share your favorite Michael Jordan clip.
I believe I can
Oh,
fly.
he was flying. bro.
Don't get me started on commercials,
I
man.
believe
Some of the
I
best
can touch
commercials.
Why didn't we have a best commercial
Thinking
NJ
about it
segment?
every
We'll do it one
night and
day.
We'll do another one.
So that brings us to the conclusion of episode 23, a
Oh,
special
yeah.
edition episode just for you guys.
Special.
Guys, if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. In the comments, let us know your favorite memories from Jordan. What influenced you? When did you first get influenced? Or if you weren't influenced by Jordan, who else? Let us know in the comments section below.
Unless it's LeBron.
Until next time, we out, and I'm going to send it over to Morad to send us out.
Give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, a kick to the key of following the greatness of this podcast. What? The greatness of this podcast.
Bro, let me just say, he didn't call yours once today.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
No, he called you Moz.
23?
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Jeez, you're sitting right here. He called him Moz.
Did I?
Yeah.
don't know.
Even if
We'll
rewind.
be back in the 4-5.
Yeah, we'll be back next
Anyway,
week.
let's rewind. Send us out, Moz.
Give us a like, a subscribe, a punch to the face, a troll on the keyboard, whatever you want to do. And we'll see you on a good show of 3&D podcast next week.
Peace.
Yeah. Until next week. Keep ranking angles, stepping back. Brandon